It's Wednesday, it's 11:15 and we're live in Westminster.
Britain isn't afraid to leave with no deal. But we need...
Well, I think the most interesting part of that whole discussion was the bit right at the beginning, when they heard the words said by Theresa May that we're not afraid to leave with no deal, and they took that, they were shocked, surprised and afraid of that notion. That was our strongest card, and the idea that we've now taken that away is such a sad position to be in, because it really detracts our negotiating clout. But on the point of the animosity shown towards our elected politicians by the unelected EU bureaucrats, it's astounding, isn't it? It's astonishing that they have such contempt for the people of Britain.
Is it? But Michel Barnier said Britain is an old car that they want to restore, and there is a certain amount of mockery of the dancing queen by Theresa May. She dances onto the conference stage. Do you think that's just fair, really?
I think it's a bit strange, this vision that they have of Britain as an old car. We're growing faster than Germany, which is growing at 0.5%. We're growing at 1.3% of the EU latest projections. We're growing faster than Italy, than France. You know, we're actually doing really well. And the idea that Europe is somehow our saving grace, is that they're the only people that can fix the things that are wrong in this country, is ludicrous. You look at the living standards of people on the continent, it's far worse than here, and we can do a lot better job by ourselves.
Tom?
You look at somewhere like Chelmsford that voted to leave. The Lib Dem vote compared to last time actually barely moved at all. The Tory vote collapsed and therefore they gained 24 councillors. It's not true to say that this is a massive surge in Lib Dem support. It's a collapse in support for the other established parties.
Well, that's always how it works, isn't it? Like, some people say how and some people go.
Oh, of course, it's always the way you look at it. Is it really fair to say there hasn't been any revival, Tom, in the Liberal Democrat fortunes?
Certainly there's been a revival, but my contention is that it's not off the back of Brexit. You look at their literature, particularly in the North East, which is anti-politics, anti-expenses, anti-established parties, no mention of Brexit. They actively avoided the word of Brexit because it's a toxic issue for them on the doorstep.
But hang on, Vera, the Lib Dems...
Right, it was quite hard to see in a lot of constituencies during the local elections because there wasn't a Brexit Party candidate. In many places, UKIP wasn't standing. If you wanted to be angry and express your frustration with the major parties, you either stayed home or did a peculiar vote for one of the smaller parties.
And we're going to just show the rally that was in Peterborough yesterday for the Brexit
rally.
Party.
When was the last time this has been seen in British politics? I mean, this is absolutely extraordinary. Just they're doing 3 of these a week.
Let's not overstate it.
They're doing 3 of these a week. This was in Peterborough. They've got another one at the end of the week. This is extraordinary. The amount of anger. You
sound like an evangelist for the Brexit Party, by the way.
I'm just sitting here staggered, really, as someone who isn't naturally predisposed to be cheerleading for Nigel Farage, right?
Are you predisposed to it now?
And I'm looking at this, and I'm just astounded. Like, could Theresa May manage a crowd like this? Could Jeremy Corbyn now?
All right, Sam. Let Sam answer.
I mean, there are a number of issues here. I mean, I think the politics of the rally is the new politics. The old politics, which is send a soundbite to a news organisation and that's all that's gone.
Blairism's dead.
Live audiences is what it's about, and Farage is a past master at it. And I think I agree with you that for us Westminster politicians, if we are going to get on the front foot, we need to embrace the politics of the rally. But we've also got to remember that Farage is all about grievance. We've got to counter that grievance with hope.
So there are brilliant clips that I encourage everyone to look at. Margaret Thatcher's rallies in 1983, right? Hope, optimism. Winston Churchill's rallies in the 50s.
All right, Grace, are you going to be looking at Margaret Thatcher?
I want to come back to Sam's really important point about the politics of grievance. We see these rallies full of people of a certain age, a lot of them male, being stirred up to be more and more angry.
About the People's Vote rallies or the Brexit Party rallies?
I'm trying to get to the end of a sentence before you interrupt me. So my question to you, Tom, is, other than being angry, what is the Brexit Party offering?
Well, the Brexit Party is offering people hope, a vision of looking towards a more democratic future. They've seen their votes being stolen from them by politicians over the last 3 years.
Anything practical?
Absolutely. They've been saying that this is how we should get out of the EU. We should not be afraid to say that the WTO is an option for us, and we can be much stronger in these negotiations. And they've not been afraid to call out the politicians who've manifestly failed the people.
And what you see all over the world is that when left parties fail to actually step up and say the reason that people are angry is because their countries, their economies are run in the interest of a tiny elite rather than the majority of people as a whole, then you get the rise of the far right.
You agree
get
with
the
that?
rise of
Hang on,
the
let's
Brexit
wait
Party.
just one second, because I think the comparison here has always been that the Brexit Party is looking like a far-right party. Actually, what it's looking more like is Beppe Grillo's party in Italy that did this politics of rallies.
The Five-Star
movement.
Yes,
the Five-Star
the totally
movement that then
ineffective
won the
party.
last election.
Right.
What the People's Vote rally rallied over 1 million people. That has never been actually
That's
put
not
in
true.
comparison.
Well, the figures were always disputed, but let's not have a row about the
With
figures.
a few thousand that were actually gathered together by the Brexit vote.
Fewer
I
than
would
the
say one
countryside
thing about the
march, wasn't
Brexit
it?
Party. It's not a party. It has no membership. It's got one person. And where is the money coming from?
But it might do
would be
quite
very
well.
interesting.
Where's the money coming from? 90% of the donations have been under £25.
Where is that money coming from? Can
This
we
is
be more transparent about
88,000
it?
people donating
So,
small amounts of money.
Vera, don't. We're going to move on to a different topic and talk about a former employee who is taking the Centre for Global Development think tank to tribunal after her contract as a visiting fellow there was not renewed. Maya Forstater believes it hasn't been removed for comments and tweets she has made about trans women. We're going to talk to Maya in just a moment, but just to give you an idea of the sort of things that she has been tweeting in her own capacity. Yes, I think that male people are not women. I don't think that being a woman, female is a matter of identity or womanly feelings. It is biology. People of either sex should not be constrained or discriminated against if they don't conform to traditional gender expectations. Should Maya have lost her job or not had her contract renewed?
She should not have lost her job. This is an outrage. I mean, the tweet that you showed there was part of a conversation on Twitter. And if people are going to start losing their jobs for presenting opinions that they might be right, they might be wrong, but they're held by a lot of people, and the idea that you would express that and lose your job, it's extraordinary. I happen to disagree with Maya. I happen to think that trans women are women and that they should, and that when you say you respect trans rights, that doesn't mean that you just say that. It means you have to actually follow that through and not deny them access to services, as would be happening if you say that you have to exclude them from certain provisions.
Right.
And the really ironic thing is that some of these feminist campaigners who are against self-identification, really self-identification is what's going to help trans people integrate in the way that feminists want them to. I mean, at the moment, if you're trans and you want to get hormone replacement therapy or you want to be able to transition medically, you need to wait 2 years sometimes of socially transitioning without any medication whatsoever. And that's what I think a lot of people are afraid of in changing rooms or whatever.